Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into something that, well, I think touches pretty much every freelancer out there.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
How to stay organized and, you know, productive when you're essentially your own boss.
Ah, yes. The classic freelancer dilemma.
Right. That amazing freedom, setting your own hours, picking projects. It's fantastic, but also means you have to create the structure.
Exactly. You're managing everything, maybe a fluctuating workload, trying to keep all those different threads from getting tangled.
It's a real paradox, isn't it? The independence that draws you in can also be where the organizational headaches start.
Without that traditional office framework, freelancers are suddenly wearing like 10 different hats. Creator, admin, accountant.
All while trying to feel like you've got it under control.
Precisely.
So for this deep dive, we really wanted to zero in on a tool that a lot of experienced freelancers really rely on to bring some order to that chaos.
Okay, I'm listening.
The dedicated journal. And look, we're not just talking any old notebook off the shelf.
Right, there's a difference.
Yeah, think about journals designed specifically with freelancers in mind. The ones built to actually last, with features that actively help you organize your work.
Like what sort of features?
Well, I'm thinking of notebooks like Lestallion. Lots of freelancers I know really rate them for their quality. Like, the pages are thick so ink doesn't bleed through.
Oh, that's crucial. Nothing worse than messy notes you can't read.
Totally. And the covers are durable.
Yeah.
They have to be if you're using it every single day.
That makes sense. For a freelancer, that journal is often ground zero for vital info. If it falls apart, it's useless.
Exactly. So our kind of mission today is to explore how using a really well-designed journal, especially one with features like, say, numbered pages and a table of contents.
Things you see in Lestallion notebooks.
Right. How those features can genuinely be a game changer for how freelancers manage their work and, boost their productivity.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, it reminds me actually of my cousin. He's a freelance photographer,
Oh.
and he was constantly losing client details, shoot schedules,
Yeah.
scribbled on random scraps of paper. You know the drill.
The sticky note nightmare.
Totally. He knew he desperately needed a better system just to keep his head above water.
That feeling of scattered information, it's such a common pain point for freelancers.
It really is.
The whole nature of the work, right? Multiple clients, different projects happening at once. It just leads to feeling overwhelmed by loose ends.
Which brings us right back to that core problem. The unique kind of disorganization that freelance life can sometimes, breed.
Things like time management, that lack of a set daily structure.
And the workload. Sometimes you're swamped, other times it's crickets.
And creative blocks, can't forget those. They can just derail everything.
And the sources we looked at, they really highlight how these aren't just small annoyances. They can seriously lead to burnout.
Yeah, or procrastination that tanks your deadlines.
Which then impacts your income, makes it inconsistent, adds a whole other layer of stress.
And that financial uncertainty, it just makes having an efficient workflow even more critical.
It's not just about getting tasks done.
No, it's about building something stable, sustainable.
Which is where this idea of the journal becoming a structured productivity system, that's where it gets really powerful.
Right. It stops being just a notebook.
Yeah, it becomes more like a strategic hub for your entire freelance business.
Okay, bring that down. How does that work in practice?
Well, think about it.
Right.
One single place for all your work stuff. What we found is that actually writing things down, physically writing,
Pen to paper.
it does more than just record stuff. It actually sharpens your focus.
Interesting.
Yeah, engaging your hand, your brain that way. It seems to cut through the mental clutter, when you're juggling 10 things in your head.
Definitely. And I've heard it can boost creativity, too.
It can. Something that tactile feel, it sparks ideas sometimes in ways that just staring at a screen doesn't. Apparently, there's some cognitive science behind it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, suggests that writing engages different brain parts than typing. Leads to better memory, deeper processing. Might explain why it works so well for clearing the head.
That physical act definitely helps with remembering things later. If you write it, you tend to retain it better.
Sure.
And when you talk about design features like the thick paper in those Lestallion notebooks, that enhances the whole experience, right? No bleed through means clearer notes, less frustration. It helps maintain that sense of order.
Absolutely crucial. And the numbered pages, you find those consistently in Lestallion journals.
Seems like a small detail, but...
But it's actually huge for organization, for referencing past notes easily.
How so?
Okay, imagine you're on a long project, right?
Yeah.
And you need to find a decision you made weeks ago With numbered pages, boom, you can find it. No flipping endlessly.
Right, you can actually locate specific information.
And then there's the built-in table of contents. That's a real hallmark of Lestallion.
Like your own personal index.
Exactly. A personalized index to your entire freelance world. You can organize everything and find specific details super quickly. Saves so much time.
It really transforms the journal from just notes into a searchable archive of your work.
And you mentioned durability earlier. The covers on Lestallion, the faux leather on both soft and hard covers.
Yeah, they need to be tough.
They really do. These things get tossed in bags, carried around. They need to hold up.
And the A5 size is pretty practical too, I find.
Yeah, it's a good balance, right?
Oh,
Portable enough, but still big enough for proper notes.
definitely. Plus having options like softcover with 211 pages?
Yeah.
And hardcover and different colors?
Yeah, lets you pick what works for you. Personalize it a bit.
It makes it a tool you actually want to use, not just feel obligated to.
Exactly. So it integrates smoothly. Okay, let's talk practical uses. How does a freelancer actually use this thing day to day?
Well, the foundation is task and project management, your daily to-do lists, obviously.
Right, the basics.
But then expand that. Use weekly spreads to see what's ongoing, what's coming up.
Get a bigger picture.
And even quarterly planners. Keep those long-term goals in sight.
So it becomes your command center for what needs doing and when.
Exactly. Then there's client tracking, super important.
Absolutely vital. Clients are everything.
So having a dedicated space, contact info, project scope, deadlines, payment tracking, it's invaluable.
And again, those numbered pages in a Lestallion journal really shine here.
How so?
You could dedicate, say, pages 1 to 50 for client A, pages 51 to 100 for client B. Use the table of contents to pinpoint specific things, like feedback on draft 2 on page 68.
I see. So you keep everything related to one client or project, clearly separated but easily findable.
Exactly. Stops things getting muddled when you're juggling multiple clients. Keeps a clear record.
Makes sense. And what about creatives? Writers, designers, marketers?
Oh, huge potential there, too, for writers. Outlining articles, jotting down keyword ideas, tracking pitches.
Designers could use it for initial sketches, getting ideas down quickly.
Totally. Capture those raw concepts. Marketers, brainstorming campaigns, mapping out strategies.
And the line spacing matters there too, right? Like the 7.5mm lines or dashed options in Lestallion.
Yeah, those details make writing or even sketching feel more organized, less cramped.
It's about the tools supporting what you actually do, whether it's writing prose or drawing diagrams.
Exactly. And using it consistently builds a habit, which is crucial for productivity, especially when there's no boss looking over your shoulder.
That self-discipline piece. The journal becomes your accountability partner.
Right. Just writing down your goals, your tasks. It keeps you honest, keeps you on track.
And even the feel of it, like you mentioned with Lestallion's ivory paper, that smooth writing, it helps.
It makes it less of a chore, more of a pleasant routine, so you stick with it.
Yeah, if the paper's scratchy, you're just not going to use it. Now, let me tell you about my sister-in-law. She's a freelance editor.
Okay.
She used to be totally swamped. Multiple projects, different style guides, deadlines everywhere. Felt like she was drowning in emails and notes.
Sounds familiar. What changed?
She got a Lestallion notebook,
Yeah.
started dedicating sections to each client, used the numbered pages for specific style notes, the table of contents to jump around.
And did it help?
Massively. She said it was like finally getting a clear map of everything. She felt less stressed, more in control, actually more organized.
Wow. That feeling of control, it makes such a difference to your headspace, doesn't it?
Huge difference.
It reminds me of my friend, a freelance developer. He was drowning in digital notes. Meeting minutes here, code snippets there,
Yeah.
across like 5 different apps.
Digital clutter central.
Totally. He started using a Lestallion journal. Different sections for different coding projects. Use the numbered pages to link meeting notes to related code ideas.
Interesting. A physical counterpart.
Yeah. He called it his physical command center, said it helped him focus, and honestly, just reduced his screen time fatigue.
That's a great point. Stepping away from the screen, using pen and paper, it can bring real clarity, especially in tech-heavy fields.
Definitely. And ultimately, as the sources we looked at kept stressing, this isn't just about today's to-do list.
Yeah, it's bigger than that.
Consistent journaling. It's really a strategy for long-term growth.
How so?
Well, you start seeing patterns in your own work habits. You spot areas to improve, things you can streamline. It helps you build a more sustainable career.
You gain insights. You're not just reacting, you're reflecting and planning.
Exactly. That consistent writing, it encourages reflection. helps you adapt better than just constantly putting out fires from your inbox.
It gives you that space for intentionality. You're actively shaping things, not just responding.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the big takeaway seems pretty clear. A well-designed journal, especially one with features built for freelancers, like the Lestallion ones we've discussed, it can be a seriously valuable asset, more than just a notebook.
Right. It's that central hub for organization, a catalyst for productivity.
And really a reliable partner for long-term freelance success.
And those specific features really make the difference. The numbered pages for easy referencing.
The table of contents for finding things fast.
That thick quality paper for a good writing experience, durability.
And just the solid, durable design overall.
Yeah, those elements are what turn a basic notebook into a genuinely powerful tool for freelancers.
So think about that feeling. Scattered thoughts, maybe missed opportunities. What if just putting pen to paper, but in a structured way?
Yeah.
What if that's the key? The key to unlocking a more focused, more productive, and ultimately, a more successful freelance journey.
It's a compelling thought.
What's maybe just one thing you could start tracking or planning in a dedicated journal today?